Greetings and salutations, everyone. I am Jason Bitbender Brink, and I am here with some of the awesome team from Drifter, and have made the epic game Superior, and I'm a big fan. I know a lot of you guys are a big fan. And today this is going to be a little bit of a developer stream, and then later there'll be an AMA. But before we get into all of that, how are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good, Excited to be doing Mayhem and all that stuff.
Mayhem. Mayhem's good times. Do you guys want to do like a quick intro? Because I think people know who you are, but just in case we have new people.
Sure. Do you want to go first, Gwen?
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on. They don't bite. They're nice.
All right. I'm Gwen. I'm a designer.
I'm Drew. I'm a technical artist.
And I am Brian, and I am the design director.
Awesome.
Co-founder of Drifter.
Thank you guys for joining us today. I'm very, very happy to be here. Now, we're going to be, as you guys talk through stuff, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Superior discussion channel, and that's where we'll eventually be taking questions. But do you guys want to talk a little bit about Mayhem?
Yeah. So we kicked off Mayhem, our part of Mayhem about a week ago, I believe, with giving everybody free access to the game. It's been great seeing people jump in there. Now we're coming in on the competitive phase of the event this week. So, I hope everybody got a chance to get in there and get used to the gameplay if they're playing it for the first time. And this week, if you manage to post on the leaderboards, you're going to have a chance to win some cool prizes. What? So yeah. So like if you score the top 25% in any of the leaderboards, so that means solo, it's 2-player, 3-player, you will win a really cool NFT backpack that I'm pretty excited about. It's like, how do we describe that one? Does it have a name or anything like that?
The name is Road Trip, and it's the bartender in a satchel just on your back.
Yes, it is. It is both adorable and horrifying. I'm not really sure what happened to the poor bartender, but he's like all. It's like it reminds me of C-3PO in the back in Empire Strikes Back. So
he seems to have lost a leg, so he only has one leg, so you got to carry him.
I love it.
That will go to and then there's also an extra special award for people who are posting on the solo boards, which is that top players, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly what the rules are, but the top performers on the solo boards will also have an opportunity to win Nomad or Murmur NFTs, which is really cool.
That's the top 50, I believe.
The top 50 players, so it's not a percentile, right?
Not
so,
percentage.
Yeah. It's the top 50 players, full stop. So, yeah, the cool backpack, you just have to be top 25% in any of the leaderboards, and you'll get it. But if you're one of the 50 best players in the Gala community, then you're gonna get one of those.
I feel like I could probably make top 25%. I feel like top 50 players is it's a bridge too far for me. It's a bridge too far. I've seen people playing. And more importantly, I've seen myself playing. And I one must know their own limits. So that's fantastic. That sounds super cool. And sorry, I had to look away for a second there. I was my office was invaded by a toddler, but as they are wont to do. And did we talk about the servers yet? I didn't hear that part. I know there was going to be a mention of some servers.
That's right. Yeah. So that's really exciting. So we noticed when we were looking through the telemetry that we have a ton of players who are really enjoying Superior in Brazil, and we opened up Brazilian servers this week. Got a ton of usage. We got good feedback from the community. It was thrilled us to know that there were people down there having fun with the game. So we just want to announce that we're going to leave those servers on. And so everybody down there playing on the Brazilian servers is going to continue to get that super fast latency going forward.
Every time anyone says Brazilian anything, I want to say Brazilian servers. That's so many. And then there's the rim shot, and it's sad. Dad joke, right? Okay, so we were going to talk a little bit about early access passes as well. Players with characters on their passes. How's that gonna work?
That's right. So so this kind of goes into actually our sort of phase strategy for rolling out rolling out our overall play to earn, play to or play and earn, or whatever we want to call it. Our overall sort of Jiri experience. So one of the things that's going to be happening with the early access passes is as we start making these changes, the early access phase of Superior is going to be coming to an end soon. We don't have an exact date for it yet, but as our sort of phased approach rolling out the crypto, like all of the Web3 stuff, comes out, we're going to be, one of the very first things that's going to happen is we're going to be retiring the early access passes that we have out there. So what that means is once the early access passes are retired, it will mean that the only way for you to be able to get into Superior is if you own an NFT character. But fear not, if you are a player who has played with your early access pass and given us hours of loyal gameplay and all of that stuff, we definitely want to make sure that we're very grateful for you coming in and playing in the early access and all that stuff. We want to make sure that you're taken care of. So anybody who has a early access pass, when the early access passes are retired, if any of those passes have infamied their characters, we will actually be awarding NFTs, NFT characters versions of the characters that they have collected infamy points on. So that should be pretty cool. So if you put tons and tons of hours into your early access character and you got an infamy point or 2 or 5, you'll be getting an NFT dropped into your box.
That is fantastic. People are going to love that. I think one of the things that I think is really interesting about this is the concept of playing something and owning something out of that at the end. I think that's super, super critical and cool. And I think that it's the direction that a lot more things are going to be going in the future. This concept of playing and owning.
Yeah, totally. And it's actually we have this we've kind of broken down our Web3 strategy into 3 phases. We're going to be rolling out all of the main Web3 features in the coming months in phases, so that one, we get it right, but also so that we're kind of introducing each one of these mechanics and dialing it in before we move on to the next one. And the very first phase is all about that concept of better ownership. So in phase 1, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving all of the Superior NFTs over to Jiri. Is it Jiri or Giri? Jiri? Jiri. I'm going to go with Jiri.
It is a deliberately terrible name so that nobody is like, oh, I missed that when we eventually change it to something much better.
It's like GIFs and GIFs.
Oh, don't even start. We're going to stop this right now. I will.
I just broke myself into jail there to bring it up.
Man.
Man. All right. Well, we're going to be moving all the NFTs to Jiri, and one of the coolest features we've been talking about forever with that is that this is going to make it possible for us to make it so that when you sell your NFT Superior character at the end of when you played it, any infamy points that you happen to have collected for that character, once it's on the Jiri blockchain, you'll be able to actually sell that character with all the infamy points attached. And so, that's really cool. If you have an infamy level 5 character, you can the next person who gets that NFT will start with an infamy level 5 character.
And that's super powerful. I mean, we've. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Drew.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's super powerful. We've seen this with spider tanks. People can go and take a tank and upgrade it and play and get those perfect rolls, and that has some pretty tangible value for them in the real world.
Yeah, and so the second thing we want to do with this, because Infamy is obviously going to be core to the value of this, we wanted to also take this as an opportunity in phase 1 to really look at the Infamy system as it's worked up to in the game, as it's worked up to this point, and also how it works with rarity. One of the things that we really have realized is really important to our players and to the game we're building is to make sure that there's absolutely no sense of pay to win in our game at all. And one of the decisions that we made super early on in the Prime series of NFTs was this notion that like Prime characters were going to have access to special skills that nobody else had. And what that does is, while it doesn't necessarily create a huge advantage for the players who own like the ancient Prime characters, it creates a perception of unfairness, and we really didn't like that, and so we wanted to kind of like revisit that decision and make it so that make sure that like owners of those high rarity characters are still getting the value, but that there's no even any illusion or pretense of pay to win. And so we're going to actually be overhauling the Infamy system, and I'll let Gwen talk about that a bit.
Gwen, let's hear it.
All right. Juicy stuff. Yeah, so like Brian was saying, those skills that existed specifically for higher rarity NFTs created that sense of pay to win. We don't want to just remove those skills. Some people like those skills. They can fit into strategies in interesting ways. And we still want to make, we still want to honor people's investment into those NFTs and not take away stuff from them. So the way that is going to change slightly is that those skills, rather than being gated behind NFT rarity, will be gated behind Infamy rank. So, for instance, uncommons have a Infamy skill for getting more credits from your juice tanks. Currently, that's only available to uncommon and up, and how that'll change now is that it'll be available for anybody who has at least Infamy rank 2. So that's applying to all of the existing rarity skills. We're going to add a couple more skills in there to sort of pad out that experience a little bit, since some of those gaps can be kind of large. The difference between epic and ancients is, there's quite a gap in the level difference that would be there.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm really excited about this change, is that because we are making the Infamy skills are going to be available to everyone who plays the game, it really gives us an opportunity to reprioritize and emphasize that entire Infamy journey, adding more Infamy skills into it and making it something that's much more complete. A player who is like an ancient or something will start off with a much higher Infamy score than a player who has a common, but that common player can grind their way up to the same level of Infamy that the ancient player has, and they can both get there.
A lot of time, I'm sure.
It's really cool.
And that's something else that is going to be part of this change, is that rather than saying that a ancient character has a starting level cap of 45, they'll have a starting Infamy rank of 15. So if you're playing an ancient character and you have Infamy rank 3 or something like that, after this change, you'll see that number shoot up a lot. Because it'll
Infamy level 18 or something.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
15 plus your Infamy score.
That'll also help, just knowing what somebody's level cap is and really how much somebody has invested, right? So like if you meet somebody and their Infamy badge says 4 on it, like what their max level is going to be. You don't have to sort of like know, okay, so they're a uncommon and they have 4 ranks, so that means it's actually 6. You don't have to like do any sort of mental math for that.
it's always one of those things whenever you're designing a game where it's like there's always that oops that you always ship with, like where there's something where you just have asked the players to do the arithmetic in their head, and then later you're like, why did we do that? So yeah, no more arithmetic in your head. Like, oh,
I was told there would be no math.
That person's a rare, therefore they get their equivalent infamy is then plus blank, versus mine or whatever.
And I'm really excited for this change and this opportunity. I think that like a long time ago, we made a promise of if you get an uncommon, you'll be able to get to that that ancient level of power. And there's kind of been this asterisk by that of but actually they always are going to have that skill that you'll never get. So this will be a nice, clean way to address that, I think.
Yeah, and so along with this pretty major change to the Infamy system, we're also going to be rolling out a second generation version of the NFT. So early on, we released Prime versions of the characters, and now we're going to release a new generation of the NFT characters that will be priced a little bit, much more affordably, and they will have different multipliers on their victory points based on their rarity and whether or not they're Prime or not. Which is, I suppose, takes us to phase 2. But before I do that, to summarize phase 1, phase 1's about better ownership, but no pay to win. We're going to be moving NFTs to Jiri, which means that you can store your Infamy score when you trade it. You're going to get second generation NFTs that are not Prime, and we're revising the Infamy system to focus on player skill and fairness rather than pay to win. So moving on to phase 2, this is the victory points in challenge run phase. This should feel familiar to anyone who's been playing in other Gala games that award victory points. Basically, the way it will work is by posting high scores on the leaderboards in the challenge runs in Superior, you'll be able to earn victory points. And then each week, you will get those victory points will be exchanged for Gala coin at the end of the week, and the exchange rate kind of changes week over week. But the one of the things that's kind of interesting, the way that this interacts with the NFTs that you own is that we wanted to make it so that higher rarity characters definitely have that value, bring that value for being higher rarity in this experience, but we didn't want there to be, again, any sense of pay to win. And so the idea here is that if you have a higher rarity character, let's say you have an ancient or a rare or whatever, you're going to receive more. You're going to have a victory point multiplier that's going to apply sort of on the back end of your victory point award. That will mean that you'll essentially get more victory points for winning when you have a rare or versus when you have an uncommon, and those multipliers go up based on the rarity of the NFT. The sort of second generation NFTs that we're coming out with right now are going to have lower multipliers than the primes, which will ultimately have the absolute highest multipliers. But these multipliers are all going to be kind of behind the scenes. Like ultimately, there's in order to receive victory points in the first place, you're going to have to get a position on the leaderboards, and those leaderboards are going to be completely fair going forward. So whether you have an ancient or a common, you're not going to get any advantage posting on the leaderboard itself, but your victory point scores will be modified by that victory point modifier based on the rarity of your NFT. I guess the last thing to call out on phase 2 will be that just like it is now with challenge run, you access challenge runs by getting challenge keys. Currently the way you get challenge keys is just by playing the game, and they are part of the general loot grind that you can get either in solo play or in challenge runs or wherever. We're not going to change that. You're going to continue to be able to grind out challenge keys just by playing the game. But when part of phase 2 will also be adding a challenge key pack that you can buy on the Gala store, so that if you really, really want to just focus on trying to refine your score and you are running low on challenge keys, you're not going to have to go and grind someplace else. You can just buy a few extra. You can buy a challenge key pack and keep playing and trying to level yourself up in the actual challenge runs with that option. So again, we're not forcing you to do that. We're just giving you the option to buy the challenge keys if you want.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's phase 2, right? Victory point challenge runs, high scores lead to victory points, higher rarities get more victory points, victory points get turned into Gala, challenge keys coming to the Gala store. And then our last phase kind of is the furthest out, and I'm kind of reticent to go into too much detail, but I can tell you a little bit about what we're planning for it and what the thinking is behind it. With hopefully you guys will forgive me for not getting too specific, just because I want to make sure that we get it right. So one of the challenges I think with phase 2 by itself is that it's great if you are posting really high on the leaderboards, but it can be hard if you're not getting very, very high positions on the board. You might not get very many victory points. So we want to make sure that everyone who's coming and playing the challenge runs has got something to chase, has something exciting that's happening for them on that Web3 experience. So in phase 3, what we're going to be introducing is mintable loot that will be dropped into the loot tables for all challenge runs. And so whenever you go on a challenge run, whether you post well or not in terms of your position on the leaderboard, you're going to have an opportunity to roll up special loot that can potentially, if you get lucky, will be very rare and valuable loot that you can choose to mint using through mechanisms that we'll kind of get into when we get closer to rolling out the feature. But in this way, what we're hoping is that whether you post well or not, you're always going to have an opportunity to get really, really cool cosmetics out of the challenge runs, and you'll even be able to turn some of those cosmetics into NFTs. And that is sort of our 3-phase plan for the rollout of our Web3 strategy for Superior.
I like it. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all of this. I just freaking love your guys' game. The style is absolutely, I mean, it's just perfect. So let's dig in and let's get a few questions from the community. We are going to be yes, and also like, subscribe, hit the little ding-a-ling button down there. And we will be taking questions in our Discord at galagames.chat in the Superior Discussion channel. Actually, I should probably go look at the YouTube too, just in case there are some other questions there. Let me click on the link, follow it over, mute myself so I don't have to hear myself. It's always the worst. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of people. There's a bit of an echo when I talk. Oh no, I'm echoing? I hope I'm not echoing. I shouldn't be echoing. I've been on streams all day. Okay, so some questions from the community. Can we get the website updated with new status? Yes. Victory points. That's a thing. What if you have 3 rare primes? Looks like you can only place 1 on the leaderboard. And this is from NFT Chuck. Or can you have multiple entries on the leaderboard but with individual characters?
You can only place on each leaderboard once. And where, as part of this last multiplayer update, we introduced a few new mutators that were supposed to bias a little bit more towards Nomad players. Specifically calling out that Nomads are not always in the top 10. A lot of them will place in the top 25, but for that highest percentile, Nomad has been not always around. So while you can only place with a character once on each leaderboard, there's going to be benefit to having different characters, so you can sort of use whoever is the best tool for a certain challenge.
Okay, so but you can only have 1 character on the leaderboard even if you have 3 different characters. Like I couldn't take 3 different characters and be points 1, 2, 3 on a specific leaderboard. Okay, cool. Just making sure. Current challenge keys. This is from the one DJ. Will they be converted or will they go away?
Oh, you'll get to keep those challenge keys. You earned them. That would be so evil to take them all away. So no, yeah,
that would.
I know, and I've seen some of you guys have like 200 challenge keys. hopefully,
start getting in those challenges, people. Come on.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to put them to good use. But yeah, no. Plan is right now you get to keep those and you get to burn through them. I think the one thing I'll say is that in some ways. It's one of those advantages that the early access players are going to have is that we're still trying to figure out what the right drop rate is for challenge keys. So when you see players with 200 challenge keys, you think, well, okay, maybe we need to tune the drop rate for these things a bit. But we certainly don't want to take any of it away. We just want to tune it going forward. So there you are.
Is there any intention to have the game with mobile support for either iOS or Android?
There's no official plans currently for either of those platforms. We do have other platforms that we're looking at rolling out, but nothing to announce yet.
Okay, there you go. And Killswitch loves Superior, says it's one of the best and most polished games. So that's very happy. Let's see. Will characters be lendable?
So currently there's no plans for us to support lendable characters natively to Superior. I think that's sort of a Gala question more than it is a question for our platform or for Superior, but yeah,
you do not object to the idea of a character being lendable. So if
it was, to be honest, I would worry a little bit that it might. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, we haven't talked about it that much, and I'd really like to get into it, but I don't think we. There are extra.
Maybe not right here, right now. Not the best spot for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like interesting externalities that come from lending we're doing all this effort to make sure that the game is fair and that it's fun for everyone. And so I would just want to be super careful about officially supporting lending. I think, like for instance, we might want to say, I don't know. We've talked a little bit about should an NFT be able to post a high score on more than one account? And I think right now we're leaning towards no.
I would lean towards
an NFT should only be able to post a high score on a single account in a week. And so that kind of invalidates lending if you're thinking about it purely from a victory point perspective. But again, no official decision there. This is really more of we're talking about it and we want to be really careful about making sure that whatever externalities are fallout to lending, that we're making a fair and fun game.
From Brand Flood 75, will we continue to see new maps and or boss content even after the updated white paper that ends in the summer of 23?
I'm assuming that I was muted. I'm assuming that they're referring to the roadmap.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah. Actually, as some folks might have noticed, the roadmap didn't quite line up exactly 1-to-1. So we will have some more content planned after the summer. Yeah.
Awesome.
And obviously, I mean, depending on how the game does and stuff, this could be the beginning of a years-long journey together.
That's my hope. I mean, it's so fun. It's so fun, man. I wish I actually kind of want to play. I wish I could play right now, but I can't because I've got meetings. The other question from Smile and Monster: will there be an option to combine food to make specific types of food in the future? Is there a crafting mechanism here? I didn't know that. I didn't even know that. Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, you can get snacks. Snacks are core. What? They're a core element to the game at this point.
Man, I haven't had enough time to play.
I know.
I would love some snacks.
I'll try not to take it personal.
But
I want you, Jason. I want you to play our game all the time. Just forget about everybody else's games. The Superior is the only one you're allowed to play from now on.
Yes, master.
Yeah, no, we haven't thought about crafting snacks, as awesome as that sounds. I think I really like the way that snacks are playing against the game design right now, though. I think it would be really fun to continue to expand the snacks in the future. So, the system's set up so that we could potentially explore that, and it's something that is definitely worth considering.
I like it. Smiling Monster says I need to play more. I absolutely agree. I definitely agree. I will try to get some time in. Who's your favorite character and who's your favorite boss to fight from each of you guys?
Drew, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I think my favorite is definitely Brute Force. And I know he's probably, like, everybody's that's been playing has probably pounded him into the ground multiple times, but it's a really fun arena, really fun boss, and yeah, it's my favorite.
Nice.
What about your favorite character to play as?
Oh, that's hard. That's a really hard thing. I love playing Ronin, but then Murmur is definitely the higher that you get her up, the more fun she is with her holograms and stuff. So yeah,
that's very cool.
What
about you guys?
Yeah, I think I like Brute Force a lot. He was actually, I think, our very first boss that we ever created for Superior. So he's got like kind of the most boss love in a way. So I like him. I love the spectacle of the growth. I know that we sometimes get feedback that the growth isn't hard enough, but I think that the spectacle of fighting like a 12-story monster is so satisfying that I love fighting that guy. Even still,
it's that whole Shadows of the Colossus vibe. Just like
that feeling of like being off to the side of him, and then you see his animation start up where he's about to swing and like crush you. Is it still kind of gets to me, and I find that to be fun. Like when I'm trying to like get around him and find where the last pustule is or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I love it. How about you, Freya? Gwen?
Yes. Definitely Murmur is my favorite character. Yeah. Murmur was also the last one that we ended up of the three. And I love how her kit came together. In terms of bosses, I was going to say Brute Force, but the Overmind fight is growing on me a little bit. I think Overminds might be my favorite one right now.
Okay.
We've had like even so last week we did a Beat the Devs live stream where we fought Overmind, and that was really fun on that stream. It was like really good. Yeah. Like and there was like 50 Undermines flying around in like a gigantic fleet, and it was fun like running around trying to drop turrets and like get them out of I think I had like a satchel charge and I was just like throwing them up and blowing them up just randomly, seeing if I would catch them out of the air. That was pretty good.
Nice. Okay, NFT Chuck. Will Renegade be Gen 2?
Will Renegade be that's an interesting question. So definitely all characters going forward will get a second generation version of the characters. And then I guess the open question is if there's demand and interest in creating Prime versions of those characters as well. That's something that we'll look at, but I don't know if there's an official decision on whether or not Prime was a special thing that we only did in the early stages, or if it will be something that we continue to roll out going forward.
Any sales incoming?
I'm sorry?
Are there any sales incoming? I'm working through NFT Chuck's questions here.
Yeah. I don't have any dates or anything on that.
Okay. And do you happen to know if you place on a leaderboard in each solo, duo, and trio, does that affect your VP?
So you place on each of those leaderboards independently. So, I mean,
So there's not a cumulative bonus that comes into play then.
Well, economics pending.
Gotcha.
Victory points would be rewarded per leaderboard. So like placing on high on the trio and high on the duo would be better than just placing high on one.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Is there any plans for a party chat or in-game communications?
No, that's what Discord is for.
That's what Discord is for. There you go. There you go, Smiling Monster. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? They are here. Let us get answers. When, says NFT Chuck. And I have a question that is coming through in Korean. Translate that. See what that says. It says hello. 안녕하세요. There. That is all I've got. Unfortunately, I don't know much more Korean beyond that. When will the VP rewards start?
We don't have an official date, but that is part of phase 2. So after we roll out phase 1, which also doesn't have a date. But all of this stuff is not. The plan is not for us to like live in ambiguity for a long time. This is all coming very, very soon. I just don't have an exact date for you guys. And totally the other thing is like phase 2. Kind of like we will roll out phase 2 once we feel really great about the way that we've executed against phase 1. So it's a little hard to give you guys an exact.
Makes perfect sense. Poop, by the way, a member of our Discord in good standing, who just happens to be named Poop, would like to know about a wall run mechanic for mobility. It's something that they would like to see.
Oh man, I love wall runs and wall springs. We were just talking about that not long ago. I don't know. It is so fun. We prototype stuff like that really early on. At one point, we had a speedster power where you like could run up walls and stuff like that, and that stuff would be great to get to someday. No official plans right now. No, and all the prototypes that had to do with wall running are now years old, but someday, maybe, we would love to.
then Rand Dutch has a question about how many hats I have. The answer is a lot. I have a lot of hats. I will switch to my Zorro Gala style beanie for now. And do that one for the rest of the day. I have a lot of hats. I've got like 3 on my desk here. Okay. So those are the questions that people are asking. They would like Spider-Man abilities. They want you to nerf Chaos. There you go. That's what I've got, guys. Cool. If there's anything else, let's drop it in the chat. But is there anything else that you guys would like to drop or run over?
I mean, that's probably a lot to digest. It's been a long time since we've talked about all of the Web3 features, and so hopefully everybody's excited about this strategy. We're really excited about it. We're excited about getting it to you guys as quickly as possible. Hit us up and let us know any sort of questions that we can answer for you. We'll hopefully get like something that is a little bit more official than just me talking on a microphone very soon, like a blog post or something to explain this. But
blog posts are brilliant.
I don't have any dates on that either, but we do want to get specific. We want to make sure that you guys understand what the plan is, because you've been there with us the whole time. So, we want to continue to build this as a community.
It's what it's all about. And for all of you guys who are listening for the first time, dropping into our YouTube channel, picking this up on social media somewhere, I highly, 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 highly encourage you to join our Discord at galagames.chat. It is hands down the best Discord for talking about all of these things. And you will find in there a lot of different really cool links and lots of information, and definitely something that you would like to check out. So join us and come hang out, and then we'll meet up with you guys soon, and I'll see you in game. I'm going to try to get in there maybe later this afternoon. We'll see.
Awesome.
Awesome, guys. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you on the flip side.